I know. I was just about to call you.
Oh, really? Well, I really like your haircut.
Thank you. I've also, I picked out my gown for the wedding.
Oh, it's lovely.
Isn't it?
Some more good news, right, Vaughn?
Tremendous. But are you sure that you don't want to look around a little more?
Oh,
or?
no, we don't have time for any of that.
Certainly do not if you want to get the wedding underway.
And we do. I've also decided to move the ceremony here to Kingsley.
Princess, he almost put it into our very hands right in his own living room.
Look, we're going to stay and bid for it. Now listen, I want no arguments from you nor Samir.
But all I was trying to say was
Look,
that...
must I remind you what happens the first time we try to take this Bible? A second attempt such as that, and none of us will leave Kingsley alive.
That is no concern to me. That is what I was hired for. How can you be so sure that we will not be outbid at the auction?
Because no one else knows of its value but me and my father.
How much more than its face value is it worth?
That is none of your concern. But be sure that I will be the one who whistle Bible in the end.
Ernie?
Hey, Jeremy.
Let me have a vodka straight up.
Yeah, hey, didn't I just read about you in the museum in the paper? Huh? Tell me, is that Dar es Salaam Bible really worth the $25,000 they say it is?
Well, I want you to know one thing first, and that is that if you want to have the wedding in this house, I'd simply be delighted.
Do you mean that?
Well, I'd want it no other way. After all, I consider this your house, too.
Oh, Uncle Charles, thank you so
Sarah.
much. Of course. Vaughn and I will have to think this over.
Certainly, certainly. Well, whatever you decide, be sure and let me know as soon as you find out.
Okay.
Courtney, you know I don't like being told what to do, especially in front of him.
Oh, I wasn't telling you what to do. I was merely telling you what I would like.
What? Ruin our wedding?
Oh, Vaughn, please.
Well, Courtney, look, all our family is back in Lake Forest. And you'd have us take our vows in this hut. Well, I won't let you do it. I just won't let you do it.
And I won't allow my wedding to become the social event of the decade. Look, I just want to become Mrs. Vaughn Sumner as soon as possible. A small gathering
Look,
with a
well,
few...
I want a large gathering. Lots of people. You know, you do have a responsibility to do this thing right.
It will still make the social column.
Not good enough, Courtney.
You know, the bride decides where her wedding is going to be. Even you with your Emily Post background know that.
And Emily Post also says that the bride chooses her hometown. I believe that's Lake Forest for you, isn't it?
Vaughn, it doesn't matter where we get married, just that we do.
Why are you doing this? Is it because of Phyllis?
My mother, why would you say that?
Come on, you know if you have the wedding here in Kingsley, obviously she's not going to be able to make the trip. I mean, the sanitarium is never going to let her travel that distance.
What are you hinting at?
I'm not hinting at all. It's obvious. She embarrasses you, doesn't
That's
she?
not true.
Look,
She can't help it if she's sick.
I'm not condemning her because she's lost her sense of reality. All I'm saying is that does pose certain problems.
Oh, it does. And how would you know that? You haven't even had the courtesy to go visit her.
Well, we've hit on a raw nerve there, haven't we?
Vaughn, of course I want your input. But I I made these decisions for one reason only, and that's to get married as soon as possible. You do know that, don't you?
Yes, of course I do.
Well, then why are you making this so hard?
Look, I'm not trying to make it hard. I'm trying to be reasonable.
Well, now stop being so reasonable then. Try to be loving instead. Because, you know, the sooner that you do, the easier it'll be for us to have that family that we want.
Shall I order you another drink?
No, thank you, and I don't wish you to have another one either, Felix. This is no time for overindulgence.
I never do when I am on duty. But I must admit that this is not your native grass juice.
All of it is here, Your Highness. The American dollars you wanted.
Excellent, Samir, so you have no problem in making the exchange.
None at all.
Western bankers will support any regime as long as they smell a profit.
That is just like the old man, the king, your father.
Felix, you will only mention my father's name when you do so in a manner of respect.
No offense intended, Your Highness, but your father always did have a proclivity for making monies. Bartender!
Hey, I gotta wait on the customer, but do me a favor, will you?
Sure, what?
Okay, put a bookmark where you left off. This history lesson of yours is pretty interesting, you know.
Yeah, I'd love to. Most of the people around here don't find it very exciting to hear.
Something wrong?
Those people, how long have they been here?
Who, them? Oh, the one guy just came in, but the girl and the guy with the accent, they've been here about an hour or so.
I need a phone.
Huh?
I need to use your telephone. I can't go over and use the one in the booth or they'll see me. Can I use it?
Sure, no problem. Here's the house phone. Hey, it is local, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah, it's the Kingsley Police.
Brubaker.
Yeah, Sergeant Brubaker, this is Jeremy Lancelot.
Yeah, Jeremy, what can I do for you?
You need to get over to the Castaway Bar as soon as possible. They're here.
Who, they who?
The Princess Yolanda and her friends.
Look, Jeremy, I already told you there's nothing I can do with them while they're waving this diplomatic immunity around in my face.
They haven't been waving around. You at least need to check them out. Now, come on. They could leave any minute now.
All right, I'll be there.
How about this one I own? California coconut date cookies. You think Dave will like them?
Well, if he doesn't, just take them on up there to Stacy when you drive up to see her tomorrow.
You know, as much as I want them to be reunited, I really don't like the idea of that long drive for him.
Well, Dave went over to the clinic and
Well, he can start working again, I hope.
No, he just went over to let Ben take a look at that shoulder, and he's coming along fine.
Well, why didn't he call me? I could have driven him over.
Well, if he's going to take that long drive upstate, what does he need you to drive him across town for?
Well, it wouldn't have been any bother.
Running all around Kingsley after these Bible crooks got you a little protective about the man, hasn't it?
I come across that way, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now, can you just tell me what's going on between you and him?
Oh, I own. I really don't exactly know. Well, you remember when he was shot and I rushed him to the clinic?
Yes.
Well, after Ben took the bullet out, I took him back to his apartment. And, you know, there we were, just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about how incredible the day had been, and, well, one thing led to another, and,
And what, Terry Davison?
we ended up in each other's arms. No, we just kissed.
Oh, well, praise God, you've been slow as molasses following your heart.
I own, I'm just not so sure that I shouldn't hold back some of these feelings.
Well, you took one step forward, don't take two steps backwards.
Yeah, but the reservations are still there. I can't help it.
What reservations? The two of you are free and unattached in God's sight.
That's not it at all. I don't know how to explain this without sounding negative.
Well, what? Tell me what your heart is saying.
I own, maybe it's too soon after Kate's death for Dave to get involved in any kind of a relationship. Maybe he's looking for a carbon copy of her, and he doesn't even realize it. I mean, you know how I was after Scott died.
That was some more feelings you kept to yourself too long, sweetheart. All that loneliness, that hurt, feelings of being abandoned.
Took me over a year to get through that emotional strain. I mean, every man who tried to enter my life, you know, Jason Prescott and Alex, none of them could measure up because they weren't Scott.
Terry, are you afraid you won't measure up to Kate and Dave's eyes?
Yes, I am. I should know better than to compare, but I just can't
Well,
help
he
it.
should too.
Now, I'm not saying that he's actually doing it, but I know how I was.
Well, you're only guessing.
Well, maybe.
I still say you're guessing. And part of it could very well be because maybe you're unsure about yourself because you're afraid to love again.
Maybe you're right. You know, I can counsel Peter to be open and honest about his feelings for Courtney. Well, maybe I should take some of my own advice.
I tell you, Terry, the older we get in life, the more we think we understand. But you know something? When it comes to love, the risks are always the same.
Well, I better get going if I want to catch that plane. But, I have to tell you, Courtney, I really don't think my parents are going to go for this idea of yours. I know for a fact that they wanted us to get married in Lake Forest.
Well, I'm sure you'll be able to convince them that Kingsley will be just as suitable.
Yeah, if I could only convince myself.
Now, I thought it was settled.
No, it's not settled. I mean, I'm allowing you to have your way.
Well, we won't argue the semantics. You'd best be going.
Dismissing me?
Well, no. Well, I'd just like you to get back to Chicago tonight so you can tell your parents the good news. You know, your mom offered to help me with the arrangements before.
Well, let's just hope that promise still holds, huh? Now, how are we going to start a family if you won't even kiss me?
Oops. Sorry, I guess I should have used the bell.
Well, I'll give you a call after I'm finished talking with my parents.
That was some goodbye.
Miriam, I'm glad that you could make it. I need so much help with these wedding plans.
Oh, Courtney, you're not actually going through with it.
Yes, I am. Will you be my maid of honor?
What?
I just asked you to be my maid of honor. Oh, I'm sorry. It would be matron because you were married before, right?
I can't believe this. Don't you think you're rushing things?
No, I don't.
A marriage ceremony is the beginning. It's not the end. Courtney, you have got to be sure before you say I do.
So is that yes or no? Miriam, I need to know if you'll be there for me.
All I'm saying is that marriage is one of the very most important steps you'll ever take in your entire life. So just because Von Sumner has all the money...
Enough of the impending doom of becoming Mrs. Von Sumner. Now, I'm asking you, will you be my maid of honor?
Somehow this is all reminding me of Rebecca.
Rebecca who?
In the Bible, Courtney. It was something I was reading in Genesis today. Rebecca was Isaac's wife. But his father, Abraham, sent a servant out to choose his bride for him.
Well, that's kind of what my father's doing.
There's a big difference, though. The motivations and reasons, they were entirely different.
All right. So my marriage won't be made in heaven. But, Miriam, my mind is made up. There's nothing you can say to change it.
Well, I'm beginning to see that.
Miriam, I appreciate what you're doing. I really do. That's why it would really help me if I knew that you would be there for me. Please.
Courtney, just... Oh, I can't believe him. Yes, I'll be your maid of honor.
Oh, Miriam, thank you. I knew that you would. Okay, now look, you've got to help me because I can't do all these things alone. I've got to order the dress. I've got to change all the plans from Lake Forest down here to Kingsley. Let's see, there's going to be the guest list.
You're right about risking, Ione. Love is always that way. But I don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on Dave.
Listen, if he was ready to take you in his arms and plant some sugar on you, he's ready enough to take those risks.
But don't you see what I'm saying? We've gone through so much together.
Exactly.
He's grown used to me. I mean, we're friends primarily, but now, after a couple more months, he may decide that friendship is all he really wanted.
Hey, now, any fool can look at you two and detect that there's some currents between you.
You make it sound so simple, Ione.
Well, it is simple if you just don't keep going around the mountain. The time is right, Terry.
I may never get another chance, huh?
Well, now, he may never have another chance either. Remember, he's busy tearing down some walls of some stored-up emotions himself.
Yeah, I know.
Well, why don't you do you both yourselves a favor? When you drive up to see Stacy, just help each other tear down some of those brick walls.
So you've agreed to be Courtney's maid of honor. That's excellent.
Oh, I see she's brought you up to date on all the wedding plans.
Well, almost on everything, except, of course, your part in it. But I'll tell you something, Mim. I'm very glad that it's being kept in the family.
Well, I'm not so sure I should have accepted it.
Mim, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, because if I did, it would put a crimp in an otherwise marvelous day.
Daddy, like it or not, Courtney is still in love with Peter Davidson.
Mim, you are simply imagining.
No, I'm not, because Courtney has been very candid with me about her feelings for Peter until recently,
Having
when
seen
everything's...
Courtney and Vaughn together as much as I have, I can assure you they are ideally suited for one another. They come from the same backgrounds, they have the same interests. Now, what more could you want?
Have you been encouraging her to rush into this wedding?
Rush. You remind me of a so-called rush order that only you can fill.
You're avoiding my question.
No, I'm not. I'm going to ask you a question, and you just sit right down here. How would you like to go out to the auction at the museum and have dinner afterwards with your father?
To the auction, really? You're serious?
Of course I'm serious. Mim, it's time you took up your social responsibilities again. Now that you're out of Ione Redland's house and into a more acceptable neighborhood.
Daddy, there is nothing wrong with living in Chesterfield.
Nevertheless, I am very glad you're finally out of it. That place attracts a criminal element just incredibly. Nothing is safe there, Mim. Look at the Dar Salaam Bible. Taken right out of the clinic in broad daylight, stolen from underneath Jeremy's nose.
Well, you got it back, didn't you?
Yes, thanks to me.
Thanks to you?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Dave and Terry who risked their lives for that. He was wounded. Ione told me all about it herself.
Ione? That sounds like her kind of exaggeration out of all proportion. Nevertheless, I've got it now.
You haven't even returned it to the museum
Certainly
yet?
not. I want to make sure it's going to be available for the auction. I'll tell you something else, too. No one is going to get their hands on it as long as it's with me. Now, enough of that. I want to know, are you or are you not going to the museum auction with your father?
Yes, Daddy, of course I'll go with you.
Good, good.
What do you know? We are about to be granted an audience.
He's the one from the museum again.
Now you know what to do. This time, no disturbances.
Pardon me, folks. Detective Sergeant John Brubaker, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, if that's all right.
What about?
I'll stop playing games. You know exactly what we're talking about. The Dar Salaam Bible.
Yes, that rare book that once resided in my country. I am Princess Ulanda Dar Salaam, Sergeant Brubaker.
Fine. What can you tell me about the attempt on Dr. Dave Phillips' life?
I'm sure even you have heard of diplomatic immunity.
No, you shot him, and after that, you stole the Bible.
I suggest we leave, Princess. You have an appointment in an hour.
Yes, that would be very...
Just hold it right there. Nobody's going anyplace. I want to see your passports now.
Passports? What's for?
Passports, one from each one of you, right here. Here's two. That's it.
I'm sure you've noticed the diplomatic status.
Yeah. How long are you going to be in this country?
What you mean is how long diplomatic immunity is extended to us. Sergeant Brubaker, even you can tell that you are out of your jurisdiction and asking us any questions at all. Good afternoon. You will excuse us?
Sergeant, you can't let them get away again like that.
I have to, until I find out the extent of this diplomatic immunity. I got a friend at the State Department. I'm gonna call him up and find out what's going on here.
A job? Well, do you have it all lined up?
Well, yeah, it's a clerk typist kind of thing. You know, it's a night shift. No big deal.
Well, so do you think you're going to get it?
Well, I don't know. You know how these things are. You just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Listen, I just stopped by to make certain Ione gets these back, Nancy. We forgot when Eric and I moved out.
Oh,
Okay, thanks.
that's right. You got your own place now.
Yeah?
Nancy told me all about it.
Well, you did.
Yeah, well, she asked me, you know.
And she also told me you have this glamorous new job with Modeling Associates.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
terrific.
great.
It is.
Yeah.
Look, I'll get that upstairs in the bedroom, okay?
Okay.
Is she all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the call. You know, she wants the job.
Well, I can understand that feeling. Yeah. Lori, we need to talk. Courtney has just asked me to be her maid of honor.
So, when's her wedding?
Soon. Like in a week or so.
A week?
Peter's got to know.
Well, I don't want to be the one to tell him. Miriam, he really loves her.
Well, from what I can tell, Courtney loves him too. That's just it. She's still determined to go ahead and marry Vaughn.
Look, would you mind telling him?
Lori, you're his sister. That's why I
Yeah.
told you that. Well, I guess not if you really think it'd be best.
Look, I do. I really think it is best because I just think he's going to take it from you a lot better than anyone else.
Okay, I guess it's better he hears of her wedding plans through me than just by accident.